Hello traders, Gary Wagner here. Just about 2 o'clock in Honolulu, 7 o'clock in New York. It is Thursday, 28th day of January 2021, and this is the daily report for gold and silver. Today's show is going to be a little different than our usual format in that we're going to discuss what I'm calling and many are labeling a David and Goliath story between individual traders that have banded together and focused upon the large hedge funds and how they have been really ruling the market based on the large amounts of capital they're able to put into a trade. To that end, the opening letter kind of sets everything up, but take a look at what we're witnessing. On today's show, we're going to have a little different focus because there are a group of traders that have initiated a short squeeze on SLV, which is the iShares Silver Trust. We'll get to that in a second. But gold, this is still basis, the most active February contract, which is now moving into April. April's volume is actually higher, closed down $3.10 at 1841.80. When we look at spot pricing, that gained 57 cents at 842.30. But as I said, the big news begins with SLV. SLV, along with silver futures, closed up over 4.75% in the case of the futures contract. SLV closed up 5.55% to close at 24.72. Silver futures, basis the most active March contract, gained $1.21 today, 4.77%, and is currently fixed at $26.60. Traders, there is truly something historical happening with a movement that began on Redditt's WallStreetBets forum, in which, in essence, an army of individual traders have banded together and, more importantly, have done so with the idea of moving against the hedge funds. For years, people have talked about the manipulation of equities and the manipulation of precious metals. My view has always been that you've got all people playing by the same rules, but some people have enormous amounts of capital that can definitely swing the scales or take advantage of it. And that has been a persistent component of the financial markets for years. It seems as though there's a possibility that the individual trader is finally able to go toe-to-toe against them. We're looking at GameStop, and GameStop and AMC are the two key stocks that have been talked about in the marketplace. We're looking at a 720-minute line chart, and I'm using a half-a-day line chart because a simple close-only line chart does not reflect the highs that it hit. While I think that this is probably very, very overvalued, the key is that there's a distinct movement that is allowing these individual traders to collectively move against the large hedge funds and money managers. And as I said, that has moved into SLV or silver. While all traders are bound by the same rules, whether it's the SEC in the case of SLV or GameStop shares, it is the amount of capital that the large institutional players have, the big boys have, that have been able to, what many individuals call, manipulate the market. I don't look at it in quite that way, but for the first time in history, we have seen a movement that is allowing the individual traders to collectively band together and really stand toe-to-toe with the large institutional players or hedge funds. Which brings us to our discussion that we talked about in the opening letter, and that is that this collective crowd has now turned their attention to the iShares Silver Trust. On the surface, you might not see that anything's going on. We're looking at a daily line chart, except for the fact that you have tremendous volume today, volume that we haven't seen in quite some time. But when you compare the price movement in silver against gold, we can see that spot gold closed up just a little bit and gold futures closed down a little bit, and that's against a 5+% change in the ETF SLV and a 4.77% change in silver futures. That tells me that if this movement really picks up steam, and I believe that it really will, because for years it has been thought that the precious metals have been artificially held back by large players. As you know, we have been long both SLV and GLD. In the case of SLV, our entry price was $22.95 a share. We are at $24.72 a share, but that doesn't reflect the fact that futures overseas are moving higher at this point. Because when we look at that, what we will see is that we have witnessed a continued gain from the closing price. Currently, we have March futures fixed at 26.61 cents. It is trading actively. It is for that reason that, along with our opening letter announcement today, we will send out a trade alert recommending that those who have SLV add to their positions. In other words, we're looking to rebalance, adding more SLV, and I also believe that it might be time to re-enter the market in silver in the futures part of our portfolio, but that trade alert will probably wait until I see if this picks up steam over the next 24 hours. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you as always good trading. We will talk to you tomorrow for the weekly wrap-up and review, and what a week we have seen so far.